Sonic, the heart of your system.
What's up everybody, my name's Andy and welcome to Kit Guru. So today we're going to be looking at the brand new Elgato 4K 60 Pro Mark II. Now this one is replacing the original, but I'm going to refer to it as the Mark II. So what is it? The capture card is essentially a card that captures external sources into your PC. So you can record consoles, PCs, or even cameras with this device. So who's it aimed at? Well, it's aimed at content creators. So you could be in the YouTube category, filming desktop videos or tutorials, or you can be on the gaming category where you can get your footage from your consoles or your gaming PC, and you can also use this for filming 4K footage directly from your camera straight to your PC's hard drive. And the last thing is streaming as well, whether that's gaming or again using it for the camera purpose. Now on the streaming topic, this is especially good for people that natively play games above 1080p and also want to stream, because this means you can still game at those higher resolutions and refresh rates. One thing to note is this is a high-end capture card, so you will have to ensure that your PC specs are compatible. So we'll quickly run through those now. So you need a Ryzen 7 or an i7 6th generation or higher, and a GTX 10 series or better graphics card running Windows 10 only. Now this is not for people that stream or game natively at 1080p, because you won't really be utilizing this. Elgato have other capture cards like the HD 60 Pro, which will be better suited. Now specs of this card, it is an internal capture card, so you will need a desktop to use this. It's brilliant because it's discreet and it's much less space used than an external capture card because it actually sits inside the PC case. Now this uses a PCIe ×4 ×8 ×16 slot, so whichever you've got available, and it is a very low profile, which we'll see when we look at the size. Now it's 4K resolution at 60 FPS maximum. It's 1440p up to 144 Hz, 1080p up to 240 Hz. So you also have HDR10, which is one of the biggest features of this one in comparison to the Mark I, because not only do you get pass-through, but you can actually capture high dynamic range, which means that you'll have darker blacks and brighter highlights. It's a much more punchy image, and this is especially brilliant for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X users. It supports up to 240 Hz pass-through, which again is excellent. It has an instant game view ability, so you can actually see the live game footage on the capture recording software as well as on the screen that you'll be playing the game at. It's usable via multiple programs. Now again, this is one of the new features and this is one of the biggest features. So this means you can stream at lower resolutions, but you can also be recording at a high resolution without any overlays via a separate app, which is brilliant. So you could be using OBS to stream, and then you could be using Elgato's 4K capture to capture that footage at the same time. Now, multiple Mark II cards can work in the same system. So again, this is a very good bonus here. The price point, you're looking at $229.95, and you might be saying, wow, that's quite an expensive card. This is a high-end card. However, when you compare it to the Mark I, the Mark I was actually $359.99, so there's a huge price reduction and a complete hardware overhaul on this one. The only thing is it comes with one HDMI 2.0, so that's a little bit of a niggle there. I think it would have been better if it came with two. However, you do need to make sure that if you're gaming or recording anything above 1080p, you will need to have a HDMI 2.0 cable which can utilize the 4K capture, because anything less won't actually work. Size and aesthetics, so it's super small in comparison to the Mark 1, as you can see here. The Mark 2 is 5.6 centimeters wide, 12.1 centimeters in length, and 1.9 centimeters depth, as opposed to the Mark 1, which was 12.1 centimeters wide, a whopping 17.8 centimeters long, and 2.1 centimeters deep. The Mark 1 comes in at a hefty 272 grams. However, the Mark 2 here is 181, so it's been on a bit of a diet. Once again, no sag once installed, which is great, and for a card this small, you would, expect anything less. It's got a very nice blacked out metal design that looked good in pretty much any build, to be honest. But one thing I did notice in comparison to the Mark 1 is that there's no LED logo on the V2. But you do have a very small green LED on the back plate that sort of lights up to let you know that it's on, but it's not as nice. So there's no back plate actually on the Mark II either. So you're going to be looking at that board there exposed. Some people might find this a negative. At the same time, you're probably going to get better thermals. Now, in comparison to the Mark I, there will be massive thermal reductions as the Mark I ran really, really hot because of the hardware choices that they made. Because the Mark II is a complete hardware overhaul, the temperatures are much lower. Now you have one HDMI in and one HDMI out for pass-through. Now let's have a quick look at how to install the card. It's very, very easy to install, even for novices that may not be computer savvy. I'd say they'll still be able to manage this. It is plug and play as well, so that should be a bit of a confidence boost for you that might be new to the internals of a computer. So at first you want to open the case side panel. You want to locate a spare PCIe slot, like I said, ×4, ×8, or ×16. Unscrew and remove the bracket on the back that aligns with that slot, and evenly slot the card in with even pressure until it's firmly seated. Now you need to make sure that you screw the support bracket back in, and then you're done. That's it. It's nice and easy. Software wise, it works with all streaming software. So just to name a few: OBS Studio, Streamlabs OBS, XSplit, and also you have the 4K Capture by Elgato themselves. Now, one huge feature versus the Mark I is multi-feed, which means you can open your videos in multiple apps, as I mentioned earlier. So with the Elgato 4K Capture utility, that's what's recommended to download. And even if you're not going to use it, make sure you do download it, because there's some vital settings in there that you may need to change in future. Now, this is a very, very simple software, and it works effectively and detects instantly, but it is very, very basic. Now with OBS Studio, it's very easy to use too. So with OBS, you do have to sort of assign the card for it to work, whereas with 4K Capture, it's just instantly detected. If it's not detected, go to settings and you can choose there which card you're using if you have multiple Elgato cards already. So with OBS, open up OBS and head to your source tab. Click add and select video capture device. Now give the source a name such as 4K 60 Pro Mark II, and then in the device drop down, select Game Capture 4K 60 Pro and then click OK. Now on that properties tab that we just looked at, there are more advanced settings that you can fine tune your experience. So the recommended settings can be found via the OBS project website. I can confirm that you can use both the Mark I and the Mark II at the exact same time. So if you're streaming like I do, I have a 3 PC setup because I stream with my wife. This is a brilliant, brilliant thing because we already had the original 4K 60 Pro and I wasn't too sure if it would work together, and it does effortlessly. So coming in with the pros, it's plug and play. It's HDR10 compatible with pass-through and capture, which is a good thing. It's very low profile in size, much, much cheaper than the Mark I. And the fact that you can use multiple programs makes it a really, really big thing. That's one of my favorite aspects of this new card. Now cons, there's no backplate, so some people will see that as a negative. It doesn't bother me really, and if I'm getting better thermals, then I see that as a pro, but that's down to you. And the other con is that the 4K Capture software is really, really basic. I would recommend using OBS Studio or something like that to really fine tweak things. And also in the box, there's only one HDMI 2.0 lead. I would have really liked to see 2 of them in here, even if they were just short, just so that you had them. You probably already have one if you're going to be getting this card anyway. So that's been our look at the Elgato 4K 60 Pro. Drop a comment down below if you're going to be picking up this one. And if you'd like to find our merchandise, you can find that directly below. And check our website for daily tech news. I've been Andy, this is Kit Guru, and we'll see you in the next one.